And if you haven't done so already, please pull up your movie. We are all paused at probably 01. I'm seeing just the sunrise coming over the planet on the Universal logo. So that's where we are. And that way, when we press go, we'll all be as close as possible to each other as if we were in the same room. So if you haven't done that yet, please go ahead and pull that up. And if you've been here before, you know that I'm going to do a little countdown in a second. So grab your remote, put your finger on the button, and we can press it in 3 unless there are comments, questions, or complaints. All right, so I'm going into the app and I'm holding my remote. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
I'm so excited. I haven't seen this movie in a while.
That's a 20-second logo. My goodness.
Yes, but see how
it was to no longer sustain our numbers. We were so many.
John, all we hear is your show.
We found a new solar system.
We can hear your show.
Oh, you can hear the music, the movie?
Yes, through your headphones.
Each one terraform. Across
You and I are synced up.
That's interesting, I guess, because the speaker of the actual the speaker is right next to the actual earphone. When I put the big headphones over the top of it, you just hear it right through there. That's funny. All right, well, guess AirPods are not going to be a thing.
That little girl's on Voyager. We will enjoy your silence now.
Can you hear my
Nope.
No.
And it's actually Summer's voice.
Interesting. Wait a second.
So this is where it deviates from the show
Exactly.
because Simon doesn't know the stuff.
This is why it could be a standalone, John, the way they did the.
I'm confused.
Keep watching.
So, John, that was the way that they explained what we learned in the show to the viewers who did not see the show and went to see the movie.
Oh, okay.
We learned that from Simon eventually in the show because he figures that out eventually. But
Are we going to see? Oh, what did I say in the last episode? That River was going to be on the ceiling at some point. I mean, come on, people.
I'm taking a shot
I think,
for that.
I think a shot is in order.
I think a shot is in order.
I'm doing it.
I thought my TV was messing up.
And again, he doesn't sneak correct that. He sneaks her out in the box.
I thought there was something wrong with my video.
Yeah.
When it
Yeah, no.
I was like, no.
Does anybody in the fandom try to actually explain the deviations?
No.
why bother? Just go with it.
I mean, they're not telling us anything we didn't already know, so we just go.
Yeah, but things like, well, he put her in a box afterwards, you know, that kind of thing.
Was never an issue. The same year he did this, he was Lola in Kinky Boots.
Ooh. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Sherry, this actor, he is pretty fantastic overall. Isn't
He's amazing.
he? He's great in Kinky Boots. You're talking about the movie, right?
Yeah. It's so pretty.
Papyrus.
Do that.
Papyrus. Papyrus.
Let the
That
nightmares
is
go.
papyrus.
Let the
That is
nightmares go.
papyrus.
Yes, it is.
It
They have
is
the
an old
papyrus
chip.
font on the Serenity.
It's an old chip. Maybe it was popular when it was made.
Back when
They
Microsoft Word
they
was,
bite it
when
up a
Microsoft
little
Word
bit.
was made.
They do bite it up a little bit, but yes, it's 100% that font.
Look at that chip go.
She's so pretty.
This had to be exciting for fans.
It was.
Very.
In theaters, they actually yelled and clapped when they saw it.
Yes,
I'm
they
sure
did.
of it.
Define interesting. Oh God, we're all gonna die.
Regina sent me a message and said it's weird not to hear the theme song.
So true.
Where's Inara? Kaylee's coming. I mean, like, showing everybody. I mean, this must have been absolutely awesome in the theater.
You see, John, that answers your question. It was pretty close to the end of the series because she's still about 6.
Yeah, they've only been on the ship for about 8 months total.
If we see a Reaver, that's 5 quick shots in a row.
What are you talking about?
Oh God, you're trying to kill us.
He's just making them up now. Like I said,
If we see an aura, are we doing 10?
wow.
She does deserve 10.
Are we clear here?
And still enjoying the look of it.
Oh,
Cinematic.
yeah, this is this is fun. I'm already super excited.
She's so pretty.
That like the heat. That's like
That's the mule, the
That's-
new mule that they have.
no. I'm just saying like that. All that heat warping there in the air. That's major motion picture. That's like we don't get that on television.
My captions are way behind. Is there anyone else?
I don't keep captions on.
No, they're right on. I'm on the.
Mine are about 20, 15 seconds behind.
Okay. Yeah, yes, mine are.
I really need those child kids.
I really wanted to use the subtitles, but because it's really loud, mine's really loud, but I can't hardly hear what they're talking about. So all the sounds really crazy loud.
Yeah, that's why I put mine on, but they're so far behind.
I turned them off because it was annoying because I was like, this isn't following this at all.
Shiny, let's be bad guys is one of the big lines. The way
Backflip.
she walks with that turnout.
Yeah, she's such a ballerina.
She never wears shoes, does she?
Me
Nope.
either.
I thought she had some boots when
She does. She has combat boots.
pretty good password, don't you guys?
Oh, we're gonna use a password like that for a memento at some point.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
There you go, John. You could do 5 shots in a row.
You're going. I'm not doing 5.
Mary just told me she's tapping off her drink before this.
I love the
Are these guys gonna be kind
negotiation
of
about
Mad
where to
Max?
shoot him.
Are these guys gonna be kind of like Mad Max type looking dudes?
No, you'll see in a second.
Just wait.
Cold.
Should have went to the vault.
The Reavers don't want the dead. They only want the alive.
Reaver's kind of looking a little like Wookiees at this point.
Remember, these were people, John, before they were leaving. Remember the stories. Sad. Wookie. They know too bad.
They're just sort of going out of their way of like hiding what they look like, of behind hair or whatnot. But right now, I'm either thinking Wookiee or Mad Max.
Merciless hell. Bye, Jane.
I don't know if I can make it through this whole movie. There's a reason I've only watched it once. It makes me incredibly anxious.
You can do it, Kendra. I've suffered through some of the stuff you wanted me to watch. You can do it.
I can do it. You can do it.
I don't know if you guys remember, but in the earlier in the
Everybody
season,
sit down.
They had talked about how you don't run from Reavers in that episode.
Yeah, I
because
remember.
They like to chase. Yeah. I wasn't sure if Regina and the rest of them would have remembered that.
Oh man, what if there's a Reaver in there? Like one solitary Reaver.
I swallowed a bug. You mean
Can everyone please take a shot?
Done.
A lot of anxiety. Gosh.
Again,
You want a
Simon, she's
bullet?
worried.
You want a bullet right through your throat?
There you go. That's what a reaver looks
Kind of Mad Maxy.
Yes.
I get what you're saying there, John.
Very Thunderdome. They're doing a pretty good job of getting you caught up to speed if you've never watched the show.
Definite. At least he tells you what he'll do for money. Look at how huge Adam Baldwin's arms got within those 3 years.
There we go. She's not here with them, but she was in the credits. So
Well, she's right there on the screen.
yeah, there she is. Hi.
Welcome to Beaumont.
Those little screens are pretty, like much like we have now. I guess those pretty.
Sherry, is that the commercial?
Yes. You might be a bit ahead of me though.
I love her engine input. Like,
She's both more like aware, but also super creepy still.
So Robert Lee, who had been in Gilmore Girls, is actually in this, but you only hear his voice. You don't see it. I'll show you the whole thing later.
Sorry, I'm a little bit ahead because I have the free version with the ad.
She's such a perv. Okay, so the commercial that you can hear, the Fruity Odie bars, they're gonna say, "I'm very ashamed they didn't eat a Fruity Odie bar in Chinese." That's Robert. You'll hear his voice in a sec.
That's why I messaged you a long time ago, John, about inviting Robert Lee.
Woohoo.
All right.
Take a shot.
Shots in order,
How
please.
many shots am I taking here, John?
Yes.
Oh my God! There was a freaking There was an actual backflip.
Yeah.
People. There was an actual backflip.
And a
I
round
did not
kick.
think there would be a backflip. I'm gonna be honest.
So I'm counting 3 so far.
is everybody drinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chugging.
I just
Somebody's
refilled my
not
glass
taking
of
their
water.
nighttime meds tonight.
5,
You guys are doing the Santa thing?
I really don't.
Since I don't drink alcohol, I just refill
For
my glass of
every
water
kick,
before this.
for
It's
every kick that was there, back
Did you
back
see the
kick,
flips?
whatnot.
6, 7,
The
8.
flipping and the backflips, that's the gold.
everything. Somersault.
No, watch what she does. She's grabbing him and squeezing hard.
I'm still not sure why she's just attacking her.
It was the
become-
Fruity Odie bar
It
commercial.
was, yeah, it was a trigger when she watched the commercial.
Which is actually Russian, and it means that's incredible, or that's
Okay, I'm glad you cleared up the commercial part.
Yeah, because remember when she kind of stopped and everything around her faded out?
Yeah,
She was looking at the commercial.
I mean, wait a second. We gotta stop here. Not stop the movie, but when I first started talking about backflips, you know that I was joking around.
Of course
You all knew there was an actual backflip.
There
We-
was
we-
You knew that there were several
and
backflips.
10
and
episodes ago, John.
We all
knew
knew.
10
We all
episodes
knew
ago.
what was going to happen, and we all just refilled our drinks, John, before this happened.
John's is
Oh my
psychic.
goodness, the amount of backflipping that we just got, and a bit of front flipping as well.
The amount of we couldn't say anything for weeks. Every time you brought it up, it was just like,
Wonderful.
Did the
Don't
president do some secret word, safe word thing and just cancel out what she
this.
was doing?
Yeah, the safe
Yes.
word was "that's ridiculous" in Russian.
First, but we should make Bob aware of what transpired. I think
We
that Bob
will.
would be very.
So when are you guys drinking again?
We have been.
well,
No,
I drink
during
water.
what? No,
Every time
during
John
what
gets
is what?
something right, every time John, one of his predictions comes true, he had all these predictions all season, and right, that scene was like the majority of them.
It's a safe word.
I think this is something maybe best discussed at the end of the movie because there'll be more things.
Yeah.
coming up.
Yeah.
See, 8 months.
I mean, this definitely brings back memories of when Jane betrayed them. It's
Yep.
like you kind of are like it kind of puts Jane in a little bit of the right. I mean, he's like, look,
Mr. Universe.
I love him. Can't stop the signal.
Sorry, I had to miss last night, so I didn't know you guys were playing.
He just weirds everybody out in 2 seconds.
Yes, his love butt is rocking.
I bet Miranda's the robot's name.
No, her name is Lenore. He already said it.
Oh, sorry.
All right, see? I have an awesome shirt with the O's and ones that's glow in the dark that looks like that. Are you an idiot? That look. There's your friend.
There's an aura.
Notice somebody else is missing too.
Oh,
Not anymore.
that's right. don't know who's a robot.
There's your naked Mally.
Watching and smiling.
Of course they are.
Throwing things at the screen.
Trap.
Trap. I love him.
Is that a statue of Buddha?
I hope you just answered the question.
Yep.
It is.
And it totally reminds me of an episode of Gilmore when Lorelai sits on Luke's lap. I want a pony and roller skates and a Barbie and roller skates for the Barbie and the
I have a feeling that this guy is like is a river type.
No, book said what he is. He's the operative.
Yeah, but I think that she was being trained to be an operative, right?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, he's an assassin. So is River.
I'm glad Anara got a few hits.
He should have just put a bullet between his eyes.
I was gonna
Yes.
say shooting him in the chest was not.
Yep.
The face.
The chest is a bigger target.
Yeah,
Even-
but Mal's a good
He's
shot.
a good shot.
We really need some River Tam at this point. We need some backflips.
But he took
we need
the,
some somersaults.
but he took the shuttle.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she was able to get to that other guy's ship in the last episode of the season, so who knows what she could do.
You go, Inara.
Yes.
Yes.
Cry, baby, cry.
Those like depth charges or something.
No, the beacons like
They're beacons.
That was the-
first episode.
The first episode they sent that decoy.
So right.
But I forgot Cry Baby Cry.
Make
Let your mother sigh.
I'm a little lost with the skeletons.
You'll find out about them later.
It all makes sense. Just know that was like her dream.
Yeah, I got that part. I didn't really. I wasn't really sure.
And
why
Jane
she's
just
dreaming
said,
about skeletons.
enough of this nonsense.
Oh no. It's interesting. It's you can kind of sense that this is probably all of this probably would have happened in the series. It would have just been a slower build.
7 years. You see what she just did? She knocked out her brother.
Oh yeah, totally. Where are they all running to?
This is
looking for
Haven.
Book. They're at Haven.
That's
They're
where
at the
they met
Abbey.
up with Book.
crying. I don't care what you believe, just believe it.
Book is dead.
Yup.
Not
Thus crying.
No predictions on that one, huh?
No. But
Like I
disappointed.
said, Joss
that-
has a reputation.
Beth, would that be a
No,
warrior's
I'm
death?
not. I'm not disappointed that Book died. I just think that it was not a very fulfilling death.
I hated that everybody else was dead. Like the whole place was really super
And
sad.
they also, well, any place that they just showed a whole bunch of things, any place that they would have taken shelter. So 7 different spots. They got rid of all of them. My favorite line of the whole series is gonna come up soon.
He's doing a lot for River.
Well, he realized no matter what happens now, they're coming after them and everyone they got.
Was the fire? Was the Serenity or was Serenity like kind of smoking as it was like flying through
They
space?
have the reactor core. They cut it so it would barely read them.
That's what
he was telling
that's what he
Kaylee to
asked
do.
Kaylee to do. Yeah.
Right, I know, but it's smoking in space. It looked like it was smoking in space, which is not actually.
Well,
That's
It's
not
letting out
possible.
fumes, is what it's doing. It's
And
letting
the-
out bad.
the Firefly, the tail always does winds up kind of giving that glow and that fire behind it. That it does give like a smoky look.
Right, you need air though for that.
It's just venting a different type of gas.
Oh my God, I'm so nervous. This is when I have to stop watching.
You're
You can do
good.
it, Kendra.
This is
Me too.
you are into
I need to
horror
stop
movies,
watching.
Kendra.
I know, but this movie affects me in a way that no other movie does, ever has.
That's so
bizarre.
great.
I can relate. If I caught the movie at this part, I couldn't watch the rest of it. I have to watch it from the beginning.
Y'all are freaking me out.
This movie is so good, and I agree with you. This is exactly like it's hard to rewatch, but it's so good.
They made it through. They're at Miranda.
I don't believe it. Nothing.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. This is something I've mentioned a few times, but this is something else that really reminds me of Mass Effect. Because there's a lot of like going to planets that are just like totally dead worlds.
Nathan absolutely hates being in these space outfits.
This is cool.
Who's watching the show?
Nobody. They got past Reaver territory. There's nothing on the planet.
That's definitely a recipe for something freaky to happen.
John, you're about to get your answers.
That's never good. Just a skeleton hanging out.
I do find Miranda very beautiful and visually appealing.
Oh, for sure. This is such a cool type of like off-world colony. That like kind of white, you know, ultra modern.
Ew.
That guy like just hit the window and died on the window.
Yep. Merciful God, please take me away. I will close my ears and my heart, and I will be a stone.
I would think gas killed them.
Yeah, the no reason thing. I mean, there's like a bunch of things that I could think of before no reason.
Yeah.
Gas being the most obvious.
Well, they did say poison.
They did say they weren't doubled over in pain or anything.
Yeah, Mal said there aren't there
Yeah, but
gases that
but there are
kill?
gases that can kill you that just put people to sleep and then they die.
How's that actress?
Is that the actress from Dexter? No.
No.
No,
Oh,
she's
no,
done
no.
the
That's
American horror show.
oh yeah.
Sarah
Sarah
Paulson.
Sarah Paulson. Sarah Paulson.
It's the PAX.
I was waiting for a hologram. Reavers. Eaton.
They made the PAX
Yeah,
32.
they made the Reavers.
Yep. That's their utopia.
So that's why it's surrounded by them.
That makes me like sick to think about this part. Ugh.
Like, for real?
She kind of knows what's going on now. She's not hearing them anymore. This is my line.
Hey folks, I actually just missed a bunch of the movie. Fire alarm went off in the house,
Oh no.
and I had to deal with it. Good old.
Mal is
old-
said
Did you
that
did you pause,
going-
John? Because you could just keep
No,
watching.
I
it.
didn't. I didn't. I just kept it going, so I
Yeah.
missed it. Sort of like one of those things where in the movie theater you run
They
to the
called-
bathroom.
Mr. Universe, they said that they're coming.
We can
Because
catch
they-
you up on whatever it is once you're once
then-
you're seen.
Yeah, the operative was there and killed them.
Well, I left. I left right when they said, "I aim to misbehave."
Yeah.
And then he said, you know, if you don't book Shepherd Book said, if you don't do something,
Something
then
stupid, do
do
something
right.
right.
So basically,
Right.
the crew is with him, and they're gonna go to Mr. Universe, and they contacted Mr. Universe, and he said, "Come," and they don't know that the operative is already there.
Got it.
Mel's on top of the ship.
They're going back to Reaver space, and they're hoping no one will notice them, but a ship has. So. And now they made sure that a whole bunch of Reavers are following.
It's a plant.
I love it when a plane comes together. Somebody fire.
Oh, one piece of information was the Mr. Universe warned him that their signal would get jumbled up in the ion cloud. So that's why they couldn't read all the ships coming in through that.
And
Leaf on the
and there are Reavers here as well, right?
Yeah, so Mal led.
Yeah,
the
they
Reavers.
lured the Reavers out with them. That's why they were shooting
Oh,
at the
yeah.
Reavers to get them to.
These are like hilarious ships, like these Reaver ships.
I'm a leaf on the wind. Watch how I soar.
I'm sorry, but this sequence is just awesome.
I am a
glad you-
leaf on the wind. Watch how I soar.
Those Reaver ships, the way that they dogfight in space is just ridiculous, but so cool.
Look who has the responsibility to make sure everyone else is strapped.
He's a good guy. Oh my gosh, how are they not vomiting right now?
I would be for sure.
Oh no! Oh. Serenity. There's no coming back from that. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I hate it.
and that's why I can't watch this
Oh my
movie from the middle
God.
of it.
No. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, he kept on saying over.
I'm sorry, but fuck you, Joss Whedon.
Yes.
Welcome to the club, John. You're officially a Browncoat.
Most people feel that way, John.
Yeah, he kept on saying, "I'm a leaf on the wind. Watch how I soar." Yeah.
Man, look at Zoe. Getting badass.
Stoic.
Just, I mean, husband just killed.
He ain't coming, and they realize what she means. Who else is crying besides me?
Me.
You realize what Jane had, right?
Are you talking about Vera?
He remembered his grenades.
Take a look at Zoe. Zoe is just ready to just methodically kick ass.
Do the job, sir.
She's in military zone right
Yeah.
now.
She's on autopilot.
Gene with his honesty.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it.
But
And the operative bashed all of the screen.
We can see.
oh my god, this is awesome.
They can never stop the signal. Good girl.
I love Kaylee.
Yup.
She's got goals.
Yes, she did.
Of course, Inara has a bow and arrow.
She kicks ass.
They all do.
It's just if you're gonna give Inara a weapon, it's gotta be a bow and arrow.
American Ninja Warrior.
Mary.
Damn
Maybe that's where they
straight.
got the idea.
I wouldn't doubt it if that's where they got the idea.
Okay, that was a freaky looking. That was a freaky looking Reaver. They put all their money in that Reaver because they haven't shown you any Reavers really, and that one was.
There's
really
this
gross.
shows you a lot more than you think.
No,
There was
they're
there
really
was one on
hiding.
the there was one on the
They're
planet
hiding
that
most of
kind of
them.
looked like that.
They're hiding most of them in like fast action. I mean, the most of them you can kind of see are just like a little bit, just kind of an extra with some like fake blood on them and stuff. But that Reaver looked creepy.
All the metal and stuff in their faces. I don't think his swinging cod's gonna be doing much of anything. Everybody almost has been hit already.
Something tells me that River is about to kick some Reaver butt. Are you kidding? Another?
This is why we hate Josh.
This is why I always say I hate this movie, and nobody can understand it until they watch it.
Oh, I can totally understand multiple times over. But I love it and hate it at the same time. I watched it twice yesterday.
Here we go. Oh no, River.
I don't know, John.
She got pulled in. She's gonna
Yeah.
be ripped apart. We're never gonna see her again.
Is
Definitely
that your
not at a
prediction?
definitely not at a very crucial moment in the film where we think all is lost.
Jeez, John, I don't know. Is that sarcasm? I'm really bad at reading it sometimes.
Come on. And Mal, sword versus little tiny screwdriver.
Swords are not good for that though.
I'm gonna go with Wrath too, babe. that same maneuver.
I found this maneuver a little funny when he first did it. It's like some sort of strange thing that he gets you in the kidney that makes you.
You never know what's gonna happen.
Oh my goodness.
All right, John. Enjoy all the reavers you could ever want.
I mean, the amount of reaver butt kicking that's going to be happening for the next minute or so is just a lot of fun.
Fight like a girl.
Check out those moves.
In the process of butt kicking. Butt kicking complete.
But kick.
John, now you can look at the books because you've got a decal that says fight like a girl with her with the weapons and all of the bodies below her.
No, not gonna happen.
The contact eye stuff in Mal drives me insane. It creeps the hell out.
The bloody eye, yeah, freaks me out.
The
Yeah.
blood dripping off her weapons, though. Ooh, that's a lot of blood that she had up.
Oh man, the eye though. Ooh.
And then for us, we all flash back to that scene where where they're in bed and Wash talks about what would happen if she was a corpse and he was
Iron.
doing her eulogy. We all wiped a little tear during that scene.
Yep.
I thought that little rocket thing was Simon's grave, actually.
Nope. The rocks that they have on each of the stones. I know in the Jewish religion, you leave a rock on somebody's headstone to show your respect and that you were there, and that it's leaving a piece of you with them.
I still hold firm on my feelings about Zoe as it relates to the entire Firefly, everything that we've seen so far. But what I saw in this movie definitely reaffirms this idea that had we gotten more of this, she probably would have become one of the best characters on the show.
Agreed.
Uh-huh. You like
Aw.
what's going on?
Kaylee finally got her man.
Super cute.
Oh my God, River is watching.
And
River's
River's
weird.
still as creepy as
What in the river?
River.
It's
River,
so
get back
sad.
in there.
Bad River. She's just like a child, kind of curious sometimes.
That's cool. What? No.
Still unsatisfying.
She's gonna stay. She's gonna stay.
I
need-
subtext in these conversations.
I wanted them to like hold hands or something. Anything.
Nope. We get that in the sequel.
That John is gonna write, right?
John is. It happened.
So River's the psychic pilot now.
And there you go, everybody. We've come to the end of the story.
If you
So see-
listen to the end of the credits, though, I think they changed to the theme song.
So, John, when we were talking about this yesterday briefly, and I like the movie, and you can now see why some people don't. But you also can see how there's some resolution, but still, some people would want more. We learned more about what the Reavers were and how they came about, and that's the resolution to what they kind of started, I think.
I liked.
When we learned
I am, just
why
so
they
you
were after
know,
River.
I am, just so you know, one of those people that as soon as the credits run, they are dashing out of the theater because they have to go to the bathroom.
Oh.
So I will be back. I will be back.
Whereas I'm the one who sits till the
through the
very, very
credits.
end, where like
Very,
the crew is standing to
very-
the side, waiting to be like, "Why won't you leave?" I'm like, "Nope, there's still names on the screen. I'm not leaving."
Yeah,
Just
David,
in
that too
case they
sometimes,
do
Mary.
something at the very end, I need to see it.
I
always
actually
put
read
the half
them.
mark. I just go to the bathroom. I just make everybody move along.
No, I actually sit and read them, and like, I like to see where they shot things and like how many assistants did each actor have, and I enjoy reading.
We sit through a lot of credits as well for all sorts of reasons, but it's always hilarious when sometimes the crew just gets tired of waiting and they just come in and start cleaning other rows before some people will leave. Because nowadays, you don't know nowadays if there's going to be anything at the end or in the middle of credits, because that's more common. Marvel kind of did that, made that a common thing, and DC does it some, and so do some other movies nowadays. But yeah, Mary, I'm with you. I always used to sit through credits. I like to listen to a lot of the time there was good music in there, or I wanted to see some of the music credits, which are always towards the end. So it's good stuff. So those of you who are not called John, who had not seen this before, what did you think? Diana, I'm assuming you're still not a fan.
I'm here. I'm back. So Krista and I don't always agree.
I
But
don't
when it
like where
comes to
this
this-
is going.
When it comes to this movie,
you and me don't always agree.
Krista.
no,
Oh,
we
Krista,
don't always
okay.
agree. When it comes to this movie, we also don't agree.
Yeah!
I freaking love this movie.
It's
Sorry,
awesome.
I had to say it. I think the movie is fantastic. I really like it.
It's good, right?
I really like it, and I don't have any problem with the fact that we don't get a lot of answers, and that to be honest, it feels mostly like just a longer standalone episode. A longer standalone episode with like way higher production values, and I just think like edge of your seat storytelling. Now I get if people don't like the movie because they lose really important and characters that we really care about. And I will say, I think Book's death was lame. Like, I just think that his involvement in the film was pretty lame, and then his death was pretty lame.
There are
Washes,
still
though.
people upset about that now, like 15, 20
Yeah.
years later. So
Well, I mean,
The cast.
yeah.
actually
It stunk.
watched.
It was the worst for me. It was the worst part about it. Not because I was sad that Book died. I mean, I was, but it was just such a misery. It was. I just thought it was like I've gotten so attached to that character. Wash's death, on the other hand, was really heartbreaking, sad. I can imagine why people would be angry about that, but
The cast.
narratively, it was amazing.
They wound up going to a whole bunch of different premieres for all over the place, and they
Mhm.
sat in the theaters and they didn't say a thing. They went in later, and every single time when Wash gets speared, the entire place erupted, screaming and crying.
Lots
Oh, I
of
mean-
gasping. Yeah.
What about
It
Simon?
was-
Definitely.
Care about Simon?
Simon didn't die.
But
She didn't die. Yeah,
he was
that was a good.
I mean,
that would have been a little much if he had killed Simon too. I think I would have at that point I would have been like, okay, this movie's got some problems.
well, then it was
But
Book, and then it was Wash, and then Zoe got like sliced in the back, and then she gets like grabbed by the Reavers. I'm like,
But
well, I guess
Jane got shot in the shoulder. Kaylee got hit in the neck with poison darts.
I would
And Aura got cut
But
across her
they
face.
did.
But
They did a
all
good
of
job.
that was
Got her.
predicted. Like Zoe, they knew, like at least Zoe knew that they were going to their deaths. They're not going to make it sense that they all get something out of it.
That's what I was thinking. I was mentally preparing for every single character to die, but at least the message was going to get out.
They did a good job, I think, of really making that climax as dangerous as it needed to be. You know, the fact that everyone got hurt, the fact that it felt like that everyone was vulnerable to death in the film. Going into that climax after having lost Wash also added to the total fear that pretty much anyone here is up for grabs. And that was really good. That was great because, we from the beginning of the series, from episode 1 of the series, we were told that Reavers are just about the most dangerous, horrible, like fearful or terrifying thing ever. And I was like, that's a lot to live up. That's a lot to live up to, And I thought that this climax did a pretty good job of showing you why people are so terrified of them.
So John, I think that the I'm just, this kind of goes along with the Reavers, but so I just want to kind of put this out there at the beginning, you guys, and you guys can all discuss and tear apart my opinion later as we go if you want. But I feel like this movie, like, it doesn't answer everything as you say, but to me it answers the two things that when the series ended that I was curious about. And I do think that maybe he changed the reasoning behind why the Alliance was after River for the movie narrative, because I think you're right. I think she was being trained to be some kind of assassin or operative type person, but in the narrative of the movie they make it that the Alliance is after her because she knows something that she shouldn't know, that whole thing about the Reavers, and they were afraid of it getting out. And so to me this movie kind of completes the story, and that's like, okay, now the Alliance doesn't have a reason to go after River anymore, and we find out the origins of the Reavers. The two things I was kind of curious about when the show ended, because you kept waiting for Reaver stuff because they talked about the Reavers for so long, and the whole time I knew we're going to find out about the Reavers in the movie, but we can't tell you that. But I don't know. That's why I like the movie. I feel like it's kind of closed it out for me in that as much as it could for a show that wasn't finished.
Diane is on the couch, on the beanbags, and I'm hoping that her phone is within earshot of Bob, so that Bob can know, who wasn't here, that the number of backflips that we got to see in this film was off the charts. And I hope that he has a chance to watch it. That is no joke. There are actually real backflips in the film done by River,
and roundhouse kicks,
and roundhouse kicks, spinning roundhouse kicks, like basically somersaults. I mean, really, every single thing that we joked about happened in earnest in the film. It was absolutely ridiculous but incredible, and it was fun. I mean, I think that the movie's great. I really wish that I had watched that in theaters. I wish that I watched that in theaters after having watched the show. I do think that I would have been a big fan of the series if I had watched it when it came out. I'd probably love it way more than I do now watching it years later. I think I would have just been sucked into all of that. I think for its time it was super groundbreaking and very different. And if I had gone into the movie after having seen the series, yeah, I think that some of those moments would have just been absolutely incredible, and the wash moment, I would have definitely like burst into tears.
Keep your eyes open in the summer times. At least here in Minneapolis, there's a theater that does these showings of movies, older movies, like every Saturday night. And Serenity is one of the ones they do, like at least every other year. And that might happen out in LA too
Well,
somewhere.
they always do.
Here too.
They always do these Can't Stop the Signals or Can't Stop the Serenities, which is for Equality Now. And they'll watch the movie, and they'll also do Dr. Horrible sing-along vlog, and they do them all over the country.
Yeah, so you might have an opportunity to see it in the theater at some point if you can find one of those viewings out in your area. The one that does it here, Sherry, isn't for that reason. It's just that this particular theater does different movies, and they kind of rotate them in every other year. And Serenity happens to be one of them because they get enough people.
I'm in like 8 or 9 different Firefly groups, and I'm friends with a lot of people who run these events. So if anybody wants to be pointed into where to go, let me know and I'll hook you up.
You know,
I think though the initial viewing being in a theater would have been very different than seeing it again.
That's what I mean. If
Especially
I'd
those
watched the show,
readerships.
watch the show not knowing what was coming up, like there's so many things about this that I would have just been like a kid in a candy store. That scene with the Reavers like fighting all of these like dog fighting all of these like what were they? They were alliance ships and stuff, and they were like slingshotting them and stuff. I mean, it was absolutely nonsensical, but it's so exciting and so fun, and completely worked within the context of what we know about Reavers. I would have been jumping up and down in the theater. I mean, I was kind of jumping up and down here in my room, but I mean, yeah.
In 2002, I had watched a couple of the episodes, and I don't even think I saw like full ones because I don't really remember it, but I saw the full movie before I saw the entire show and didn't put the connection with the two until maybe 7 or 8 years ago. So it was much later.
You didn't put the connection of what?
The movie and the TV show, because I hadn't seen the whole show. I had only seen bits and pieces here and there, and I'm on a lot of medication, so I have memory issues. So I didn't put the connection together. And when I saw it years later, I'm like, oh my God, this was this, and it was just like a light bulb that went off in me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Matt just told me he saw the movie Serenity at like Blockbuster and picked it up and thought, oh, this would be interesting. And he watched it and he really liked it. And then later he discovered there was a TV show that came before it. So he watched it out of order.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm wondering, I mean, sort of to go back to the book thing, you know, one of the main reasons why it's like my least favorite thing about the movie is that I don't feel like it does justice to the character, whether you're a fan of the original series or whether you watch it for the very first time. The character is so glossed over. We don't really get much of who he is, why he matters.
We don't know why he left.
I know, but
I
think
wonder
about
if
it
the
from the
actor
context
was
of somebody.
limited on time.
That might have been the case, but imagine you're coming to see this movie and you've never heard of a television show. Like, just imagine, you know, you like there would be a little bit of like why is this like why is this really important? Like there was like an emphasis placed on it that didn't, like, if you've never seen the movie or seen the television show, it would be hard to sort of place what that was. But then there wasn't really a lot there. Like there wasn't a lot of meat to that character or the storyline. So then when he dies, if you're seeing this for the first time or don't know Firefly, I would imagine that it would be like Okay, well, I mean, that's sad, I guess. And if you're a like a fan of the original series, I would imagine that that would be like, wait, what? that I spent 14 episodes like invested in that character, and like that, and he just is gone like that. It just felt really unfulfilling, like really unfulfilling, and that was my biggest disappointment of the entire film. Was the only real place in the film where I was like,
I
not
get that,
happy
but
about
I
that.
us talking over a lot of the stuff that was happening, to me, it does take away from some of it. So I can see what us talking over the dialogue of them saying what was going on, why he was there, where they were. It kind of takes away from that feeling.
Yeah, I know, but it's not really. My thing is that it's not active. It's just a campfire scene. And that like campfire scenes, I just feel like that character deserves more than just a campfire scene.
I think there's
in this narrative.
I think there's two main reasons here. One, and maybe Krista will back me up on Clubhouse. One of the reasons people tend to not like this movie is because there's so much of the backstory that they're trying to say again. And so with Book not actually being on the ship anymore, it's hard to try and fit his backstory in again. And then the other thing is, I saw the meaning of his death not necessarily to be about Book's story, but about the message he needed to give to Mal, which is that believe. Whatever you want to believe in, believe. And so he's already told him that once, and without the death, the message doesn't have the same gravity. It doesn't sink into Mal's head in the same way that it needed to.
Agreed.
Yeah, because that comes back around at the end when he's talking to the operative, and the operative asks if he believes in what he's doing, and he says yes, and he says, are you willing to die for it? So I think that's Book's influence on making him realize something.
Yeah,
like
I get that.
I get that.
I just was disappointed that that's Book's role in this. He's a character that I came to really follow deeply, and I felt like he got no story in this. He just was a narrative tool. He was
I agree with that as well.
The guru campfire scene, and for a character that you spent time with, that you were kind of invested in what their story was, for that to be how he's presented in the movie seemed a little, felt extremely unfulfilling. None of the other characters felt that way. Like all of the other characters, I felt like we were still on their story to a degree, and I didn't really have much of a problem with like regurgitating, information that we'd already learned in the series at all.
Yeah, well, I agree. I was disappointed that we didn't get more Book, and I guess I always thought, I don't know for a fact because this isn't me quoting anything in particular. I always just thought it was one of those instances where the actor was kind of squeezed in. He didn't really have the time. Maybe he was doing something else at the time. But it's also, when you look at it as a standalone movie, if you don't know who Book was, you just are seeing him as this person that maybe they know from their past that they go back to visit, kind of one of those kind of characters. And
like Mr. Universe.
This is a major motion picture for Universal. I find it hard to believe that the actor. I find it hard to believe that it came down to the actor's schedule. That's the reason why. It's possible,
but it's possible. Yeah, but what I mean is, like, maybe he wanted to be in the film, but he only had a limited amount of time because he had other commitments. Because that happens once in a while. So people make
that happens every once in a while.
We would think of it as
I don't really buy it, but
it
it
like
does
a
happen every
cameo
once in a while.
role.
But for an actor, you typically hear that for like A-list actors. You don't typically hear that for characters that are like part of sort of a little bit more side character ensemble. It's just it's a huge movie, you know. It's
Well,
a huge
I
movie.
get-
If,
I
if they if
totally
they,
get
if they
what
had
you're
come to him and
saying.
been like, you know, we want you to be featured, you know, part of this plot. I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's very possible. Yeah, I don't know what was going on in the actor's life. It's very possible. It seems more plausible that the writing was like, this is how I'm going to use Book. He's going to be this important narrative device for Mal. And I just wanted more from a character that I was really following and caring about. But I that's assuming. That's totally assumption. So I shouldn't just say that that's what's going on, because it's just a totally assumption, and
Right.
and I'm then I'd be criticizing something that's made up in my mind. But I can say that it was unfulfilling. That I can say.
I Googled like why Ron Glass's part, his role was so small. I didn't get any definitive answer, but in the article I found, it did say the reason him and Alan, their fate was what it was, is because they planned to have a larger universe, a larger world, and the two of them could not commit to any sequels that would have came later. So their fate was kind of decided with
And
that.
they were all told that they were expendable.
Yes, they were. And in that article, this is really interesting. The Reaver ship destroyed by Serenity's gun was Betty from Alien Resurrection.
Shut up.
And I was just about to, because I
Oh,
That's cool.
the same thing that you found,
Yeah.
and I'm actually on my way to Discord when you said that you found that, so I'm putting it on Discord.
So Firefly
Well,
is
we know what
probably
that. We of
an
course.
alien.
Yeah, we know what that
From
means.
beginning to
Seriously,
end, apparently.
No.
I mean, come on, stop.
But Mary,
They
it was
are
in
part
the
of
first,
the shared
it was
universe.
in
Like
both
I'm going to be
Serenity title
changing the
things.
world tonight. I'm changing the world card tonight. There's going to now be a little picture of a xenomorph on there as well.
Yes.
This world
Awesome.
is shared.
Yeah,
Okay,
but when you
so
think,
at
but
least
when
I
you look
got
at it,
I never
they
used to take
started it. They started Serenity, the pilot episode Serenity, with an alien type reference, and they ended the movie Serenity with an alien Easter egg. So it's kind of like a bookend of alien stuff in the Firefly universe.
Not Firefly universe. Firefly alien shared universe.
In Remarcus. But yes, I knew Mary was going to react to that though when you guys were starting to say, I'm like, oh no. So Mary, what is your feelings like? Okay, when it comes to Book, you obviously are seeing it differently, but do you feel like you wish he had a bigger part as well? You being somebody who really liked the movie.
As a fan, yeah, of course I wish he had a bigger part. Do I think the story as it's written works for what they were trying to achieve? I can't criticize them too much for it. Would I like to know what happened, why he's on Haven and not on the ship? Sure. But I think part of it is two things come to mind. One, like I said, is they just had to figure out how much to put in. And two, I think they were planning to have more movies. I think part of it was they were hoping,
yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
it really feels like it is ready to be a great franchise of films that could potentially be like Star Trek, where it's like, okay, you know, the series got cut early, but the movies basically turned it into the, you know, the franchise that it is today. That could very well have happened. The Serenity. How did the movie do? I mean, this thing's got 5 stars here on Amazon Prime.
I want to say it wasn't that big a hit.
It wasn't that great from what I know as well. But I mean, after the fact, the Browncoats are keeping it going.
Yeah,
I mean, and
but
we
like
have
it's
so many
initial
comics.
Its initial like box office, I don't think was didn't warrant more, is what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
But I
Well-
think the
Um,
writers intended it to be. And so, in my mind, if that was their intention, they could always go back and have flashbacks or give me the explanation later. Right now, they were trying to like go after the biggest kernel. The biggest kernel are Reavers and River.
Did
So,
you just say Colonel?
yeah.
Well,
on-
it's interesting you say that because it's harvest time. But you
on
can't
IMDb, the budget was 39 million. The worldwide gross was 40 million, and opening weekend was 10
That's pretty
million.
miserable.
Yeah.
That's
they-
not
Yeah.
good at
So-
all.
Now, think about the history, though. I would say that if they were to count like 5 years out, that's probably old by now, by then. But at the opening time, it was.
Can we ask Diana what she thinks? And I know not all of you were here in yesterday's post show the whole time, but she had some really great kind of insights from a perspective of somebody who's not sci-fi, who is not a fan of westerns, and who's not a huge fan of the series, but was still very interesting to listen to. And I know she watched the movie, so I'd like
She
to
does
hear a little
not
bit of what
like-
she thinks
She does not like the historical period
of
of
Reconstruction.
in general. We learned a lot.
So Diana,
Diana is running across.
if you're
her,
willing,
her
if you're willing to
apartment.
talk to us a little, I'm curious
I was
what
just,
you think
I was
about
just
it.
River.
fixing my Christmas tree as I was talking to you, or I was listening. I think this movie looked really cool. Like it looked a ton better than the series, just in general. But I'm not sure what I just watched. I have absolutely no idea what happened or what the plot was.
Now wait. Now, admittedly, how much Christmas tree decorating were you doing?
No,
and
none.
how much actual watching were you doing?
I literally was just looking at it. I was like, oh, that looks wrong. I need to go fix that. Oh, I was watching it, but I just,
It was just like the Snoopy teacher. It was just like,
yeah, I was just like, I don't exactly, and like I sort of zone out during any sort of action. I don't go to action movies. I don't like fighting. I'm not looking for like. I just don't like. It's weird. My brain
It doesn't
just
speak to you, huh?
my brain like doesn't compute it. Like if there's like a fight scene, I'm out. I pick up my phone. I'm looking elsewhere. Like I don't understand. So there was a little too much fighting in this movie for me, like, and not enough. I don't know. Like, I guess I just wanted more plot, and like I guess I just must be missing it. Like I don't get it. I agree the book death was lame, but I feel like, you know, all the reasons you said is probably true, you know, like there just might not have been enough to do there for lots of reasons. I think the wash death was actually really cool because it was narratively forgive my pun, but a gut punch. And so it kind of made sense narratively to like get through something really tough, and then he just dies and it's like, well, that's life. I liked parts of it. Like I liked when Zoe was said, like, do you actually think any of us are gonna get out of this? Like I thought that was a pretty poignant moment.
A history
because-
comment? You
yeah, well, I was just gonna say, like, because like I this whole time, like the whole series, I'm kind of like, what's the end game here, you know? Like so for them to like all die like kind of made sense to me, you know. So for her saying that, I was just like, yeah, I mean, like, what's the point? Like, yeah, you know, I don't know. I just was kind of like, where are they going? What's the next move? Like, are they just seem to be on this ship to survive and not really to live, and I'm kind of like, I just want more for them all. I did like the history comment from Mal where he said, you know, what was the line exactly? It was, hold on.
I have the whole script. Point me in the right direction.
He said half of writing history is hiding the truth, which
if you're gonna look at it as reconstruction, it's like, yep, ding, ding, ding. So I'm kind of like, well, that's pretty poignant. I don't know if it was like I had a moment where I was like, is that a tongue-in-cheek, like, yes, this is what we're doing here, is we're gonna tell that story through this series, this franchise, and we're gonna leave out what really happened. Anyway, that's just my geeky brain going there. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of like I thought it looked a lot cooler than the series. Like I thought that was, I enjoyed how they recreated the sets and all that. But I don't know, guys.
Still not your thing, right?
Not my thing. Like, don't take me out to an action movie. Like, I'm definitely gonna zone out halfway through.
Might
be like,
falls asleep through them as well.
Yeah, and like I think I have a sensitivity issue with it too. Like, I don't love like loud noises, and so I'm like, oh, it's too loud. I gotta turn it down. Like, I don't like this.
There's a very big dad joke that goes with the show, and it's, how do reavers clean their spears?
Wait. Hold on. How do they clean their
spears?
They
wash them.
They wash them.
They run them through the wash.
Through the wash.
I just posted a picture. Alan has actually gone to San Diego Comic-Con, dressed as Wash, took ketchup, and put it in the middle of his stomach. Right in the middle of the chest. Yeah, he did a drop mic.
So, Diana, I'm really glad you did stick with it through the whole thing with us, even though it wasn't really your thing. And I have enjoyed hearing what you had to say, because, we can't all just only assume everybody loves it, right?
Well, I also, like, my big question is, we hear about Reavers in the first episode. I don't remember how many times we ever heard about them again.
A lot.
I just don't remember hearing about them until this movie, and I'm like, what? Like, okay, all of a sudden that's the villain? Like, I don't get it. Like, where'd they come from?
Really?
Oh,
no. They
mentioned them a lot.
They mentioned it a lot.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
that was one of my big beefs with the series. Was like, geez, when are we gonna see these things? I mean, this is like getting old here. Let us see a Reaver. Gosh,
they remind me of the Morlocks from the Time Machine.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, the freaking Morlock.
The old one, the really old one.
The old one, yeah.
This 1960s one.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I mean, in a way, like it is kind of a Morlocky kind of thing going on, right? Because the Morlocks were an evolved version of the same people who the Morlocks were feeding on, who were also kind of strangely like innocent and docile and whatnot, right? But they were all kind of started as the same people and then had that divergence. So I'm sure that there's a little bit, whether or not Joss realized it, there's a little bit of that trope in there, where it's like part of the people went one way and part of the people went the other, like a horrible way, and the other part went like, like an ultra docile way. I mean, in this case, like real docile, like dead docile.
I just have one more comment about Zoe, and we were talking last night about Zoe and how we don't get a ton from her in the series, and that's a bummer. But like, I also am like, I'm not so much pissed at Wash dying because Wash dies and he's cool and obviously he's fun to watch. I'm pissed because it's like another dig at Zoe. Like, she now has to like deal with this shit. It's like, poor Zoe.
But
like,
you see that she's
Zoe.
the warrior woman that she's been said to be in the series. She picks herself up immediately. And she goes into that mindset of, okay, I'm in the middle of a war. I can't focus on that. I need to focus on what's ahead. Chances are I'm not making it out alive, but I need to do what I can to protect my troops.
That's true.
Right, but after the war is over, now she goes back on Serenity, and like she's had something like majorly taken from her. But I will say that that's a good start for a story. You know,
And
my biggest beef on that character was there's nothing here by way of story. Like, yeah, sure, you can tell me all of the technical things that make her, that are in theory supposed to make her an interesting character. She's not an interesting character until she has a story. And now I feel like, well, man, like I'm dying to find out what happens to Zoe next. You know, like I would, you know, see a sequel of that for this film almost mostly so that I can find out what happens with Zoe.
Thankfully,
you know? And that
the books do the comics do pick up. The first one actually takes place before the movie. But there are ones that pick up afterwards, and they're phenomenal.
Well, I'm going to be reading them. I mean, there's no doubt.
Well, you do have the
I'm going to
Shepherd's
read them.
Tale, so now you can find out what his story really is.
Yeah, I mean, I might schedule some events in the Serenity world, or in the Firefly alien world on Remarcus
For comic book readings?
For comic book readings. I don't know about readings we can't do because
Discussions
that's,
though. Discussions of them.
that's
So the first one, I put the picture of what the first one is called. It's called Serenity, Those Left Behind.
yeah, but like book club type thing,
Yeah.
where it's like where we meet and we talk about what happened, and you know, just like exactly like this, we watched the movie, but in this way we would have to read it separately just because that's copyrighted material. So I don't want to mess with like any kind of reading. Plus, it's a comic book. How would you do that?
One last question for Diana though before we move on, John, real quick. Diana, did you at least have anything in that movie that you liked towards the end, possibly? Because I know you are liking the relationship aspect.
Was there any backflip whatsoever that you liked? Was
No,
there
I'm talking
any
about
single
Kaylee and Simon.
roundhouse kick
I'm
flip
talking
or
about
any-
Kaylee and Simon finally getting together. It was. I mean, I can see that that's Diana's thing, right?
Well, I'm happy for John that you got backflips. Like I'm happy for you. I don't need them, but like I'm glad you got them.
Oh, I got him.
Yeah, see, like this is the thing. Like I would have watched 2 hours of Kaylee and Simon just like talking about their feelings, and like I don't care about anything else. Like
But I would have watched that too.
That
I would have
one,
watched
yeah, totally.
And I would
But I'm
have
like,
also
why do we need?
enjoyed watching some backflips.
Why do we need battle scenes? Why do we need death? Why do we need flying? Why do we need all these things? Like
because
like-
they juxtapose each other in a
that
beautiful
one
way.
kiss scene.
Simon
It took them 20
motivated
different
Kaylee.
takes.
Yeah. Well, Simon motivated Kaylee to want to survive the Reavers.
Yeah, that scene was fun. Like that was good writing, and they performed it perfectly. Like that was great. Like I love that. But like but then, you know, the next frame there's like cannibals coming at them, and I'm way too sensitive of a person for that kind of stuff. Like there was definitely times I had to like, you know, lower the volume, leave the room because I can't handle that stuff. So anyway,
Did you
like
join
that.
us for any of our horror films? Did you?
No,
join
I
us
will
for
never.
for Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No, this is like. I mean, I listened to you guys
That
watching it.
was disgusting.
Yeah, I can't. I can't do stuff like this. Like this is way too. There was one episode of Firefly that I was like, nope. I don't like this at all. Like it's gonna give me nightmares. Like I don't like it. Like
It was the Reavers episode.
Was
That's
it?
the
Yeah.
one that I
My
warned you guys.
favorite episode was the Reavers episode in Firefly because of the gore part.
Yeah.
And I guess I was scared of the Reavers. I guess they are a good like nemesis and all because they're scary and frightful. But the mystery of not seeing them at all was scary. But when we actually saw them in the movie, they seem like a blur. Like if you asked me to draw one up for you, I mean, it'd just be that.
Well,
dude
there
in
was that
teeth.
one that they featured for a second there that I was like, oh, that is a gross looking Reaver. Like, and you know, for the most part, they were an absolute blur. It was so clearly on purpose. Like that was like, if we show the audience too many Reavers, I think the audience will be like, wait, that's what we were supposed to be really scared of. Whereas if they just put all their money into one really gross looking Reaver and they show that Reaver for a couple seconds, it's like, oh wow, yeah. Ooh. Those are gross.
It is always
I just
scarier
wanna-
than the
Because
villain.
remember, they're all extras. All of those are background talent. So I guess they're probably background talent that have fight coordination. So probably a slightly different group but they're just a bunch of people that were put into makeup. And at that time, even still, you watch The Walking Dead or something like that, and it's very you can kind of see background talent that they put in makeup. Whereas like back in like 2005 when this was done, I'm sure like whatever 30 of those people, they looked at them and they were like, we're gonna have to make this really choppy and fast because the audience is gonna look at you guys and be like, this is what we. And that's how I felt about that guy. That's how I felt about that guy during the episode. Remember, and I was like, please tell me that this is not.
yeah.
What the Reapers
Yeah,
look like.
you were not impressed.
Please.
I want to. Who
Please
hasn't
tell me.
seen it?
And we were
Shelley,
all
you
like,
have it,
nah,
right?
don't.
I know Jen hasn't seen it. I have a feeling Lisa fell asleep. Shelley, you haven't seen it either.
I'm here. I'm just washing dishes.
What
And
did you
listening.
think?
Well, I can tell you my favorite scene was when they open the doors and there is River with like the axe and they're all dead around her. I was like, because I was waiting for that.
Now do you know why I
was
have a
waiting
bloody
for
axe
her
in my
to
room?
kick ass. Huh?
Now you know why I have a bloody axe in my room?
Yeah, okay.
Hey, you guys,
Um,
just oh, sorry, Lisa.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna mention that there's in just under 10 minutes, there's an event that starts up for those who are watching Made, season 1, episode 2 with Hunter. I just wanted to remind everybody that's coming up so that if people start leaving in the middle of somebody's comments,
I actually have to get going here in a second. The crazy thing. So halfway through the movie, suddenly a fire alarm went off in our house, like just every room. Of course, I'm sure Josie, like, what in the world? Our dog's freaking out. And I go downstairs and Babsy's like, door open and trying to like, broom the fire alarm, and we like turn it off, and I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I don't know, I'm making a pizza.
Popcorn?
I'm just making a pizza. And of course I was thinking that. I was thinking, shoot, is my popcorn even now after all this time? Did it like set off the fire alarm? Anyway, so then I come back up after I got the fire alarm to stop, and then I went back up, and then she sent me a text. There was a casserole dish in there that she forgot to take out, and it exploded.
Oh no! Oh my god! I was just thinking about that happening because that's happened to me before, and it almost happened to me today. Oh my god!
It freaking exploded. She sent me a picture of it. So the entire oven is covered in shattered glass. So I need to go down there and clean that. So I will be heading off.
Well, one thing I was just gonna say before you go, like the one thing I was thinking the whole time during the movie was this, like some of those scenes, like in the ship, like I was thinking like could make a really cool theme park ride. Like I was just thinking like a simulator ride, like with like like especially since I've been on like Smuggler's Run and like all those things at Disney with Star Wars.
Disney
like
owns Firefly. It's possible.
Yeah, it definitely lent itself to like, oh, this would make a good like simulator ride.
Well, because of the ship being the size that it is, I think that it would be a really great experiential product that has like I want to explore that ship. I would not be crazy about like being strapped into some sort of like pseudo roller coaster type thing with a big screen in front of me. I want to be on that thing.
No, it needs to be something like this.
Go through it.
Oh.
I would love for it to be a ride where like you are sitting there and they're like kind of like what is it in Orlando with the horses, medieval times, where they have the actors coming through and actually doing something, and like you're on the ship and walking through.
It very much reminded me of everything at Galaxy's Edge, and like you really like they could really recreate the whole like Galaxy's Edge feel for Firefly and for Serenity. Like I could see that, because you wouldn't need to know anything going in. Like you wouldn't need to have watched it. It would just be kind of cool. Especially when, like, you know, they have people on the ship that get on there and, you know, threaten them and all that stuff. So you could like totally create like a 3-part ride where it's like, you know, oh, are you going to get in a chase? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? Like, are you going to have to sort of fight people on board? Like, I could see all that happening with this. That was where my mind went when I was not really enjoying much else. But I thought like it could be cool.
Sabine, you were going to say something?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I had the same thoughts. It's like the rise of the resistance, the new ride.
Yeah, it would be exactly like that. Yeah.
Exactly. So, oh my God, with Firefly, it would be even better because you have way more dimensions and things like it would be cool. Absolutely. Yeah. Super.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about earlier, like, this is what I want to leave you with, John. You know me. Like, nothing bothers me. I can watch gore, I can watch horror. This movie gets to my core and makes me so anxious and like sick feeling that this is only the second time I've watched it. And for me, the reason this movie does it is in my brain, I always think this is possible. What happened on Miranda, I can totally see a government doing that. And the thought that, you know, that little bit of population that could turn into Reavers and what they become bothers me so bad, because in my brain, this is completely possible on our planet, in our world. So I don't watch this movie, and that's why I hate it so much, because it makes me so incredibly nervous and uncomfortable.
See,
this movie is what does it for me.
I can't watch the movie if I catch it in the middle, that it's too close to When Wash Dies.
Yeah,
I can't do it. I need to go back to I need to start it from the beginning, because I need to build up. Okay, I know what's going to happen. If I turn it on and I know what's going to happen right away, my body isn't prepared for it. My mind isn't prepared. I cannot handle it. I won't be able to breathe. I love the movie, but it's a very hard movie for me to watch sometimes.
I just think it's interesting that this movie of all movies affects me in that way. Like, I can watch anything. Nothing affects me. Nothing grosses me out, scares me. This scares me.
Hey, Kendra, have you seen Handmaid's Tale?
Oh, yes, I have. And I feel the same way about that. That is absolutely, completely possible. That could happen.
Would you not watch Handmaid's Tale with us? If we
I watch Handmaid's Tale over and over and over and over again.
So
there's not like cannibalistic like human beings in that. They don't eat you and like, yeah.
But Texas Chainsaw Massacre had it.
Oh, that doesn't bother me at all. It's so funny to me.
You are a conundrum. You are
I
a conundrum.
know.
She's a witch.
You are a conundrum wrapped in an enigma.
But there is some logic to it. Some of the sci-fi can actually happen, and some of the gore cannot.
Right, that's what I'm just gonna say. I can see what you're saying is because I've never seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I will never watch something like that. But I can't imagine that something like that is based in reality, as opposed to
loosely based on reality. It's loosely based on a real life serial killer.
Oh, really?
Loosely. Yes.
I'm definitely never gonna watch it then.
Yeah.
All right, folks, I'm gonna have to run out. It was really fun. I had a great time with Firefly, and I look forward to expanding this world a bit and getting into some of the comics.
I'm so glad you liked the movie, John.
Hope you'll join for some book club stuff.
And
is it still a 7
in the coming months?
Thank you all for joining us for the whole run. This is a great run. Thank you.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Is it still a 7 after watching the movie? That was the one last thing I wanted to ask you, because remember yesterday I said I'd be interested to see what you rated after the movie.
Yeah, I mean,
Still
it doesn't
7?
really change how I feel about. It doesn't change how I feel about the show. I think that the show's is a 7.5, probably 7.5. It's between a 7 and an 8. You know, if I'm watching an episode that I really love, maybe I'll lean more towards 8. And if it's an episode that I'm not as crazy about, I might be feeling something a little closer to a 7. But it's definitely a television show and a franchise that I would say is really good. But I wouldn't put it up there in the, oh my god, one of my favorite shows of all time.
Hey, I
Yeah,
feel personally
but
attacked by that.
why?
Oh my God, it's one of my favorite shows of all time.
I
One of
know, but I
mine
mean,
is John.
everybody has those. Everybody has those, and those are personal. Can be personal to them, and I'm certainly don't feel bad when people, don't have the same kind of like, oh my gosh about the shows that I'm, oh my gosh about. I know that Hunter is like really, really into Battlestar and Buffy, but Battlestar, she's really into Battlestar, and I really like Battlestar a lot. I think it's a really good show, but it's not a show that I would put in like the 9-10 category for me personally. It's just I don't, it doesn't do it for me the way that some of my the shows that I'm just absolute complete nerd over.
What
That's
is your
fair.
favorite, John?
Oh, I would probably say I'd probably say that it's probably Breaking Bad. We haven't gotten to the end of Better Call Saul, but it might be Better Call Saul actually.
Really, I've been
Marvelous
I
Mrs.
still
May
haven't
Marvelous
watched
Mrs.
that.
Maisel could Marvelous Mrs. Maisel could end up being one of my favorite shows of all time. Like it's already like just caught me in a way that all of my favorite shows have, like from the first season, where I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna love this show. Lost, I was mentioning Lost was a very important show for me. Like it was a really important show in my life, and I loved every second of the first 6 seasons, and then like starting in season 7 and season 8. Was there a season 8? I don't know. Whatever the last 2 seasons were of the show, just
Didn't it just go through 6?
No, I believe that there was at least a 7. But
I loved Lost till the end. And I remember when Lost first came out, there was we were getting TV guides back then.
Yeah.
So I was reading an article on it, and the writers was saying how the ending will not be that this is heaven or hell, and they will not be dead. And then, of course,
I was so upset. I have my own perspective on that ending and what it actually meant, and I actually don't interpret it to be that the island was supposed to be heaven. We can get into that once we actually get into to watching Lost, which we eventually will. I know a lot of fans think that like what that last thing was saying was that they were in like a sort of an afterlife type place, but I don't actually think that that's what it was saying. I think that it was saying that all of them were meeting now in the afterlife, but that the island was quite real. Regardless, that was an example of a show. Same with Game of Thrones. That was also an example of a show that I was like convinced is one of my favorite shows of all time, and then the last season's just like nosedived for me. Dexter, the same, where it's like I was just like, oh my god, my favorite show of all time, and then like last season I was like, oh good.
Aren't those 2 seasons where the writers are changed off though?
Yeah. But I'm really loving this show, Yellow Jackets. I'm just gonna say it again. Definitely not for you, Diana, but just I don't think that you would enjoy it. But if you like suspense and some cannibalistic stuff, Oh, Kendra's gone. That was a joke mostly for Kendra.
I
but-
was gonna
she
say,
went to watch
is
Maids.
is that a file now? Like we like people like cannibalistic stuff. That's something we wait for.
That was mostly for Kendra. Anyway,
She's over
Yellow
in
Jackets
Hunters.
is
She's in Hunters
Oh, okay.
event that just started. So
Jen, do you have Showtime?
Yeah, I got it.
You watch Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jacket.
You're
Okay.
Yellow Jackets. It's with Juliette Lewis. It's great. It's great. It's definitely a genre, like if you don't like that genre, like that thriller kind of, thriller genre, then you might not like it. But if you dig thriller, I know you like Lost. It's got a little bit of that going on. I think you would really like it.
The thriller stuff, the scary stuff, if there's anything suspenseful, I have to have company for that because
okay.
I feel uneasy. So that's what the watch parties are for too.
Right. That's true. That's good. All right, everyone. I'm off to clean